Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we continue our series with decks led by the legendary characters from the Final Fantasy set. Leading today's Bracket 3 deck is Kefka, Dancing Mad. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Kefka Dancing Mad is a 7-mana 6/6 legendary human wizard who has Indestructible, but only during our turn. At the beginning of our end step, we exile a card at random from each opponent's graveyard. We may cast any number of spells from among cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Then, each player who owns a spell we cast this way loses life equal to its mana value. Quick note for new players: at all times, unless the spell is on the stack, X is equal to 0. So a Fireball has a mana value of 0. Additionally, when you're casting a spell without paying its mana cost, X is also equal to 0. So if you try to cast an opponent's Pull from Tomorrow, you will draw no cards and then discard a card. Doesn't seem worth it. Now, we want our opponents to have cards in their graveyards so that we can steal them. So destroying their creatures or other permanents would be a good idea. But we don't need to go for the mass land destruction route either. After all, Kefka only lets us cast spells from our opponent's graveyards, not play cards. Mill is also another way to put cards into the graveyards, but mill is a side effect of our deck, not the focus. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. One of my favorite products Ultimate Guard has is their Xenoskin Omnihive. Years ago, when my family and I would go play Standard together, we would bring all of our decks inside of Xenoskin Omnihives. We could fit everyone's decks, spare tokens and dice, and everyone's playmats into 2 of these massive boxes. Well, the new ones are here, and instead of 5 60-card decks or 4 commander decks, these can fit 8 commander decks or 10 60-card decks. This thing is massive, and I can't wait to finish filling it up with my decks. Find out if your local game store carries Ultimate Guard products, or click the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm currently streaming over on Gaming with Danon as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. To start off our list of lands, we've got Command Tower and Exotic Orchard. Both reliable and belong in just about every multicolored Commander deck. For fetch lands, we're running Bloodstained Mire, Polluted Delta, Wooded Foothills, Marsh Flats, and Arid Mesa. Fetch lands are the best lands you can add to a multicolored deck. Yes, they are expensive, and new players may want to avoid them for the flashier game-ending cards, but trust me when I say that fetches are the best investment you can make when it comes to cards in your commander deck. A big part of the reason why is they can be used to find typed dual lands, such as Blood Crypt, Raucous Theater, Sulphurous Mire, Geothermal Bog, Smoldering Marsh, and Canyon Slough. Yes, some of those come into play tapped, but that's fine. We also want some dual color lands that can come into play untapped, such as Luxury Suite, Haunted Ridge, Dragon Skull Summit, Tainted Peak, Blazemire Verge, Sulphurous Springs, and Blightstep Pathway. Yes, some of these are a bit pricey, but good lands always are. Shout out to Rakdos Cranarium, because bounce lands are great and I won't hear otherwise. I've also said so many times, and I've even done a short video on it. Bajuka Bog for graveyard hate. Finally, 7 swamps and 6 mountains round us off with some basics. Basics are great because they come into play untapped. Now, we're a Bracket 3 deck, so we don't have to worry about Blood Moons or anything, but just in case we decide to upgrade this to a Bracket 4 deck, our land base is good to go. To start off our mana ramp, we're running Dark Ritual, Seething Song, and Mana Geyser as rituals. Wanted to try and get our commander out early. We've also got Descent into Avernus and Black Market connections as treasure generators. Next up, we've got Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Indulgence, Rakdos Signet, Mind Stone, Felwar Stone, Chromatic Lantern, Thrawn Dynamo, and Gilded Lotus's Mana Rocks. Treasure Nabber for some shenanigans and to annoy our opponents. Finally, we've got Wayfarer's Bauble and Solemn Simulacrum as land ramp. Not too shabby. For card advantage, we're running Magus of the Wheel, Dark Deal, and Dragon Mage as wheel effects. Sometimes people complain about wheels, but they work great in this deck, so I wanted to include them. We've also got some Burst to Draw in Siphon Mind, Big Score, Unexpected Windfall, Jeska's Will, and Laughing Mad. For tutors, we're running Demonic Tutor and Opposition Agent. Reanimate helps us with some reanimation effects, and Prosper Tomebound is just fun in this deck. Lots of ways to fill not only our hands, but also our graveyard. For interaction and spot removal, we've got Chaos Warp, Feed the Swarm, Abrade, Bedevil, Vandal Blast, Plague Crafter, Accursed Marauder, Terminate, Rakdos Charm, Withering Torment, Untimely Malfunction, and Bolt Bend. Mostly spot removal, as is appropriate for Rakdos. We've also got a small discard package in Burglar Rat, Elderfang Disciple, and Hecdice. Gotta keep those graveyards full for our commander, after all. Our board wipes consist of Blasphemous Act and Toxic Deluge. Simple and powerful, as it should be. The core of our deck consists of Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, Rankle, Master of Pranks, Mindrack Harpy, Breach the Multiverse, Mindcrank, and Altar of the Brood for additional mill and discard effects. We're also running Shieldred Whispering One, Brainstealer Dragon, and Itali Primal Storm as additional theft effects. For payoffs for the milling, we've got Sir Conrad the Grim, Wild Magic Sorcerer, and Passionate Archaeologist. Meanwhile, Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves offer protection for our commander. For shenanigans, we've also got Anger, Helm of the Host, Harmonic Prodigy, and Nalfishni. Gotta love some good old-fashioned shenanigans. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 52 mana sources split between 35 lands and 17 pieces of ramp. A little high, but we have a 7 mana commander, so it's fine. 12 pieces of card advantage, 15 pieces of interaction, 2 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Rakdos Charm and Bajuka Bog, 1 sudden I win card in Breach the Multiverse. This deck wins by using our opponent's win conditions against them, which is not only fun, but also hilarious. But it's okay, we have a 7 mana commander, so our opponents should underestimate us. Right? Do you have a Kefka Dancing Mad deck? What's your secret deck tech? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alix, Borgie, Conga, Robert Pye, Kazaris, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard Sint, Boomy, Osira Justin, Golden Walker, Captain Hammer, Yori Sleech, Zach, Mr. Salty, and Hua. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.